This insane 4-1-1-4 scored over 230 goals with the best team in the testing phase, and trust me, you need to trial this tactic out because it's absolutely nuts. Let's get right into the video. We're actually going to test with the weakest team first today, switch it up a little bit. I want to quickly say, please do smash the like button and subscribe. Now is the perfect time to do so. And I also want to quickly say this team right now is predicted to finish in 13th place. Just to justify that, we have come out and absolutely dominated the Bundesliga 2 with Hertha Berlin, a save which I am very debating on doing myself, so I did actually play a fair few games of these myself, and we actually went invincible. That is right, invincible in the season. Absolutely incredible. It's going to be the main man Harris coming in with 28 goals here, and Fabian Rees coming in with 12 assists, picking up 83 goals and 17 conceded. Now, this is by far the least amount of goals we did actually score, but I'm just showing you guys what you can expect from a real gutter team, you know, a team that is low division and not favourites in that division. This is what you can expect to see. We actually feature in more than just them stat lines, as we are also going to see the most shots for at 446, the most dribbles made coming in at 527, the most clean sheets at 20, and obviously the fewest conceded coming in at 17. And now going over to the data hub, we are going to look at 2.44 goals a game, conceded at 0.5, over 13 shots a game, and a pass completion coming in at 89.35. By far the least amount of goals we scored throughout the testing period, but it's very important I show you guys what you can do with an underdog team. So over to PSG, the complete opposite of Hertha Berlin, a dominant team in a top division. We actually went invincible in this season too, nearly picking a perfect 34 wins out of 34 games played. The 2 draws come in against Nice and also RC Lens, both 1-1s, very frustrating. It's going to be the new man actually, Kolo Mani, coming in with 62 goals. Obviously Mbappe is going to be playing out wide in this system, so not sort of the dominant striker figure anymore. Ousmane Dembele coming in with 29 assists, but do not fear, Mbappe did get the highest rate and nearly averaging an 8 over the entire season. We scored 145 league goals, conceded just 14, and if that's not enough to impress you, we actually won the quadruple. We won the Champions League against Manchester City, we also won the French Cup against Monaco, and the Trophy de Champion against Toulouse FC. A dominant season. And the team stats, they may as well give them all to us because we absolutely dominated everything. Most shots for, 667. Fewest shots against, 188. Most possession, 61%. Most dribbles made, 638. Fewest conceded, 14. And most clean sheets, 22. Yeah. I'm not going to complain. Now, this is going to be the real big one. Looking at the data hub for this French League team, we're looking at 4.26 goals a game, conceded at 0.41, close to 20 shots a game, an 89% pass completion, and a 79% tackle win ratio. So when you are testing with the creme de la creme of teams, you can expect to absolutely take over world football. And I really wanted to push my luck in this video, and therefore I have tested with one more powerhouse team. Now, this tactic is morely designed for these top teams to see how many goals you can simply extract from a team, but just to show you, obviously, with Hertha Berlin, you can also use it with that standard of team, so it would also work with a mid-table team as well. But with Manchester City, unspeakable things we've done with this team. Honestly, absolutely incredible. We absolutely thumped the Premier League, not going invincible, but we did absolutely storm it. I mean, the point difference is mental between us and Liverpool. Erling Haaland, one off scoring 100 goals in the season, picking up the highest rating. Bernardo Silva with 41 assists. Now, this Man City team is something special. It really is. And I will say, just to clarify before anyone wonders, I locked Haaland and Bernardo Silva in certain positions. So they did play basically every single game, apart from a little stint where Haaland did have a bit of an injury. Going over some of the team stats though, 137 goals coming in, only 22 conceded, and do you know what? I didn't feel like the quadruple was enough, so let's just win 6 trophies. We win the Champions League against PSG, we win the Super Cup against Sevilla, obviously the Premier League, the FA Cup against Villa, the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, and a Community Shield against Arsenal. Sometimes 4 trophies isn't enough, so let's have 6. Team stats again, a lot of them are going to go in our favour. The most shots for, 748. Fewer shots against at 195. Most possession at 61%. The fewest conceded at 22. And also the most clean sheets coming in at a very low 23. But a very high 23 on that occasion. The data hub is going to speak for itself. Now, obviously, PSG did score more goals a game, but let's just look at the competition between the Premier League and the French League. So we've got to take that into account as well. To be scoring upwards of 3.5 plus in the Premier League just shows how dominant this tactic really is. I think if you're playing as sort of like a United, Arsenal, Tottenham, you're looking at around about 3 goals a game, to be realistic. But do let me know in the comments what sort of stats you get. 0.58 conceded, just under 20 shots a game, and a pass completion of working its way up to 90%, exactly 89.34. Of course, I'm going to show you where these 230 goals come from, and therefore it's very important to show you this, as we are going to see Erling Haaland carrying a bulk load of that 230 plus, 99 from him, 26 from Bernardo Silva, 23 for KDB, 22 for Phil Foden, 14 for Nunes, 13 for Grealish, 10 for Diaz, Rodri with 9, 4 for Gvardiol, and I won't bore you with these, but they do make up, I believe to be exactly 233 over the season, and the assists, absolutely outrageous. Bernardo Silva coming in with 41. He was playing a central position, I will say that. 26 for Phil Foden, De Bruyne with 24, 20 for Walker, Nunes with 15, 13 for Gvardiol, 11 for Grealish. I mean, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players with 10 plus assists in the season. That is going to be 4 with 20 plus, and this guy here, just what is he doing? I mean, the guy's absolutely nuts. But do you know what? This season was probably one of the best I've ever had in FM. Now, I know it is with Man City, so please save the comments. I can already see it. But this is designed to see how many goals we can get out of the match engine so far in the beta period. So let me know if you can beat my 233, because I'm very curious how you do it. That's all me rambling on about stats, but let's watch some goals. A 5-0 win against Manchester United, and what a start for Erling Haaland. A great ball in the box. I've just realised this might be too soon to show after that derby result, as this should have been the scoreline really. But do you know what? We're going to carry on and crack on as De Bruyne floats the ball in. A poor clearance from Varane as Haaland, doing what Haaland does best, tucks in an absolute peach into that corner. It's now going to be Phil Foden down the left-hand side into De Bruyne. Tons of space. Pass Aute in goal. And do you know what? It's nice to see Onana maybe not starting every game, give the other guy a chance, but on this occasion, he concedes 5, so maybe not the best decision overall, as it is going to be Silva with another ball into the box. And I will say, with this tactic, it is going to be, you are going to play that short passing play, but you are not afraid to get a ball in the box. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. It's not going to be all elegant tiki-taka style. This tactic can have a slight theme of being direct, but playing like this, you score the goals. As simple as that. I will show you a game we conceded in. I played this game myself personally. This was right at the start of the season, and I remember the second we scored that goal, I knew it was going to be in for a good day, because we absolutely tore them apart. And this Liverpool team didn't do anything the entire game, right until the end. A great bit of high press and play there, and an even better finish, as I remember Darwin Núñez scoring from a corner in the 89th minute. But do you know what? The way that we link up this play down the right-hand side, a lot of the play does get sort of created down that right-hand side, I will say that, but this is a perfect example of a more elegant approach to what this tactic can do as well. Playing around the back, Stones to Rodrigo to Ruben Diaz, simple zip-zap pass into Núñez, quick little turn on the feet, and just look at this run here. Only very few players are going to make this run in the game, this level. I mean, he has completely sent Konate to the shops. Konate's come forward, pretty much committed himself. We've got Virgil van Dijk. He's having a smoke. I don't know what's going on there. Nowhere near close enough to his man. And Erling Haaland is so much quicker than Van Dijk. And you know what? It's a fantastic finish. When Haaland's in front of the goal, it's going to be a goal. And his last goal here, a little bit something different, from a little bit of a set piece from a corner and a direct ball in the box. And you know what? Sometimes going direct is the best way. And they get a little lucky one here. But you know what? It is what it is. So let's go over and break down this tactic then. This is now the perfect time to leave a like on the video. So be sure to leave a like and definitely subscribe, because we've got a whole year of tactics and it's going to be a big one. But let's go ahead and break down this tactic. Now, I do want to say this is going to be sent in from a viewer. So it is going to be called SlayerZoros4114. If you want to get your tactic featured on the channel, join the Discord below and ping it to me in a DM. And I'll be sure to run a few tests on it. But this one, it might look a little bit weird, but I'm always on the lookout for a unique looking tactic that actually performs. And this one did. So we are going to start off with a sweeper keeper who is going to be on defend, on tackle harder, a complete wingback on the right on attack, on cross more often and cross aim centre, a ball playing defender on defend, again simply on tackle harder, a default ball playing defender on the stopper role, just to clarify that little minor difference, and a complete wingback on the left hand side on attack, on cross more often, cross aim centre, on the attack and duty. Now, this back four provides a bit of everything. You've got very attacking fullbacks, obviously. It's very good that we have got the halfback to sort of help defend. But to be honest with you, we didn't concede that many goals across all of the tests, even with Hertha Berlin, who obviously are a very low down team and not even predicted to finish high up in that league. So you don't concede loads of goals at all. If you take this halfback out the equation, I'd beg to differ. You probably would concede a lot more goals, but it actually is quite a perfect back four. And speaking of perfect, let's go over these perfect names coming down the screen right now. These are going to be new or existing Patreon members. We've now got over 415 of you guys, which is mind-blowing. You need to get involved. The link is going to be in the description. You get over 8 perks, and there's some real big ones. You get access to all 3 of these files in one simple download. You get early video and tactical release. You're going to get priority in your tactic and rebuild requests. You get access to the giveaway, one-on-one tactic help, and so much more. I mean, there's honestly so much content on there. Go and check it out. It's going to be in the description. But going over to the midfield, the halfback role is going to simply be on defend on the default. Now, I think the reason why he's gone down this approach is because you don't want to have too much stuff going on with this role. Simply do your job, nothing flash, get it done. Ish, bash, bosh. Bish, bash, bosh. Completely got that wrong, but that's what you need to be doing. Just slightly higher up the field, we're going to have a box-to-box simply on the support, again, on the default instructions, and same logic goes for the halfback. I think because of the way this team is shaped, and because it is quite attacking anyway, you don't want to have too many instructions on these players in the default variant, because it is obviously already so attacking. If we had, like, get further forwards on this player, for example, in the default variant, it's going to be way too attacking. So keep it as you see. On the left-hand side, it's going to be an inverted winger, simply on the default instructions. And on the right-hand side, it's going to be an inverted winger, but we have got a different sort of approach to it. I noticed this winger was definitely a lot more dominant in the game. Cross more often, cross-aim centre, stay wider, and also tackle harder. And in the middle, it's going to be an advanced playmaker on support, simply on the tackle harder instruction. And to finish it off, the cherry on top, the advanced forward on attack, on shoot more often, and tackle harder. A couple of tweaks you could make is possibly have some of these instructions on this side of the field, and if you are picking up way too many bookends, take off some of the tackle harders, but it's fairly common sense. But that's going to be your player instructions. Let's go over the team. But then, guys, it is going to be based off a custom tiki-taka style. Just to clarify that, and the mentality is going to be set to attacking. Just to clarify that as well. The attack and width is going to be set to fairly narrow. We're going to overlap left and overlap right. Honestly, these fullbacks, you saw by the stat lines, especially in the City team, how involved these complete wingbacks got in the game. It was absolutely nuts. We're going to play out the ball from the back because that is the way we're going to be playing. We're going to have this set all the way down to much shorter. So although I said it's not a tiki-taka style in the sense of, like, I noticed in the highlights when I was playing, you do go a lot more direct on some occasions. You can also have that element which we saw with the John Stones to Rodrigo, to Nunes, to Haaland. That sort of passage of play, you can also see that in the game. So in my opinion, it hybrids between that sort of style and going more direct, and we're definitely not afraid to get the ball in the box either, as we saw in them highlights. We're going to be more expressive, and we're also going to work the ball into the box. Now, just a little heads up, if you are chasing the game, you can't get a goal, I would untick this so you just have shots at the goal, because at the end of the day, sometimes this instruction works for me, sometimes it's a little bit iffy. Sometimes you get annoyed because you're not having the best chances, therefore having this on is a must, and sometimes you just want shots at the goal. So it's literally game dependent, and it's up to you guys to make that big decision. In transition, there are going to be a few things selected. We're obviously going to go with the meta instructions, the counter press, the counter. On this occasion, we're actually going to get the ball moving quickly. Now, if you're just a goal up, you're trying to hold on, obviously you wouldn't have this selected. Just to clarify that, we're going to distribute to anybody across the back line while taking short goal kicks. So very meta based, so I do rate him for that. But obviously this instruction here is purely down to how quickly you want to get the ball moving. So if you're not in a rush, don't have it selected. And now, out of possession, there are going to be a few changes to what you see here. It's going to be the high pressing line of engagement. We're going to go with the standard line. We're going to max out this trigger press. I will say this right now. This is a very intense tactic to play, very high pressing. So make sure you got the big 3 variables, as I always say: training, rotation, rest. Have them 3 things in place, you're going to be fine. But you need to have all 3 done. Otherwise, you might find yourself a little bit in an injury crisis. We're also going to have this selected alongside of get stuck in. So a very fast-paced, aggressive, high-scoring machine. That is going to require you to, you know, make sure you rotate in players, because I can't stress this enough. It's very high pressing. It's going to use a lot of energy, and it comes down to your game management. If you go into a game against a weak team, you go 3-0 up inside of 30 minutes, you want to lower the tempo. Lower the tempo down a little bit and just be a little bit more composed, because you probably can't play like this the entire way throughout the season, but you guys probably already knew that. But I will just point that out just in case. I figured I'll show you a couple of cup finals quickly, just to break up the video a little bit. And it's going to be a 5-1 win over Monaco in the French Cup final, as it took about 30 minutes to get the first goal against this Monaco team. And you can see there the influence Hakimi is having on this game already, as it is going to be a great touch from Vitinha and an even better finish. Sorry, I can't talk today, it seems. Monaco don't go home empty-handed, though they do grab a goal here inside of the 80th minute. But to be honest, it wasn't a tactic issue, it was a Keylor Navas issue. Shocking bit of goalkeeping from him, and from this point onwards, Monaco seemed to collapse, as we see another goalkeeping error there. We capitalise on it, making it 3-1, but this is where they simply go to sleep or give up, as we actually go down the right-hand side again, run past everyone, and it's a simple finish. I think at this point they knew the game was done, and they even let us grab another one, so thank you Monaco, we've got to take it. Again, coming down the same side of the field, a ball in the box, and the man that scored 60 goals in the season cooked. And for any of my PSG fans out there, we are going to look at a 2-0 win in the Champions League against Manchester City, as the goals come quite, I was going to say quite convincingly. It was actually quite a close game, as Ederson literally just stands still and hopes for the best. And the last goal here comes very late on, a little bit lucky to win the ball back. Hakimi just absolutely sends into the shop, a great ball into the box, and bang, Champions League done. But of course, as per usual, I'm going to go over an attacking variant and one to take into sort of harder games and seal out your games. And the first one is going to be the attacking variant. Now, as you can see, it's going to look strange. I'm going to explain it also, don't you worry. But again, please do smash that like button. It's completely free and helps this video get found by any new viewers, and it means the absolute world. So this tactic right here, you might look at it and think, Josh, what have you done? Have you clicked random buttons? And the answer's no. So essentially, I'm going to explain this. So we've upped the sweeper keeper on a supportive role, on tackle harder, just to make him a little bit more aggressive, not as restricted. We have gone with an inverted wing-back on this occasion. On attack, simply on the default instruction. The ball-playing defender remains the same on both scenarios. The complete wing-back remains exactly the same. We've got rid of the half-back because we are trying to go a lot more attacker-minded now, and we've introduced a deep-lying playmaker on tackle harder and mark tighter. Simply the most progressive defensive player there really is, just to get the balls forward and try and get that crucial pass in behind. We've then gone with the box-to-box on get further forwards. Now, this is where I'm going to start explaining what things do, because you might wonder what I have done. So essentially, on this side here, we'll first go over the inverted wing-back. So the inverted wing-back comes in because he essentially is going to fill in this sort of area here. He's typically going to be in this sort of pocket here. So he's going to act as another, pretty much as another midfield player. And if he does push up the field, he's going to sort of slot in between these two here. So obviously that means on the right-hand side, the winger can now not be an inverted winger. He is going to stay wider on the attack and roll, on cross-aim centre, and also tackle harder. So let's explain that a little bit. Now, the shadow striker is going to be a little bit to the right-hand side, on shoot more often, and tackle harder. So the box-to-box, when he's getting further forwards, is going to create this sort of situation here. So he's going to be almost filling in this gap here in the midfield, or the attack and four, shall I say, as he acts in that attack and four. And it works really, really well. So if you can imagine this in a game, it makes complete sense. And on the left-hand side, we're going to have the inverted winger simply on attack on the default, and the advanced forward coming in on attack, on shoot more often, and tackle harder. So although it might look a little bit weird, in the game, all the positions actually fill themselves out really, really well. Trust me, it might look confusing, but give it a shot, because you score tons of goals playing like this. And now, to be honest with you guys, there's not too many changes in the team instructions at all, so I'm just going to briefly show you all of them, just to show you the proof that there's no changes, really. In case you're not a Patreon, you can't download them. I will put them on the screen now to show you. On this occasion, the only thing that really changes is going to be that pass into space, because I want the players to be a little bit more sort of risky with the passes they're playing. I don't mind them losing the ball, because we are trying to get a goal desperately, so having this on is a great addition. In transition, we are also going to look pretty much exactly, well, it is exactly the same, so I'm not going to waste your time with that one. And out of possession, this is the only reason I'm showing you this is because this is now up to you. If you are desperate, and I'm talking 5 minutes left of the game desperate, you can go with the higher line, but I'm going to say this very clearly, that you are going to be incredibly vulnerable at the back if you use a higher line with this system. So that is just a heads up. If you are desperate, you've got nothing to lose, that's the only change you should ever make. And now, of course, we are going to have a defensive variant of this tactic, or a tactic to go into your games with, and there are going to be quite a fair few changes. So the keeper goes back to the default, the complete wingback simply goes on a supportive role on the default. Both of these defenders remain exactly the same in all of the variants. The complete wingback on the left-hand side, again, simply on the default instructions. The halfback, again, simply on the default. Might sound like a lot of default, but essentially, these roles are meant to be basic. They're doing their job. I don't want them to do anything out there outrageous, because I'm trying to sort of either go into a game cautiously or play a little bit more defensive. We then have a very risk-free central midfield player on support, on pass it shorter, take fewer risks, dribble less, shoot less often, and hold position. Essentially, I want the players to pick up the ball, pass it left, pass it right, pass it back, pass it forwards. Nice and simple, no risk, just complete the pass. He essentially is a wall in this team. Pass it to him, it comes back. That's all he's there for. On the left-hand side, we're going to have a winger, simply on the supportive role, on pass it shorter. On the right-hand side, an inverted winger on support, on pass it shorter. In the middle, an advanced playmaker, on pass it shorter, tackle harder. And the advanced forward remains untouched. So these four players here obviously all have that same instruction. They are going to play the ball very short, make short, sweet passes to just stay in control of the game, not really take too many risks. And sometimes, just to get your foot into a game, you need just to complete passes, and that's the mindset I've gone with this tactic. In terms of the team instructions, there are going to be a few changes. The first real changes is now going to be on a balanced mentality, and we are going to see some differences. So we now only have play out from the back. This remains the same. The tempo is now going to be set to slightly lower. We've got a time waste. Now, if you're going into a game using this, don't have time wasted on. If you're using it to defend a game out, have time wasted on. We're going to have work ball into the box. We're going to dribble less. I always notice us have better levels of possession. You're sort of a more passing team with this obviously selected. We're going to be more disciplined when it comes to the creative freedom, because I don't want players making runs everywhere. I want it to be quite a compact and tight ship. Nice and organised, hard to break down. In transition, we're going to have counter press. We're going to distribute to anybody across the back line while taking short goal kicks. But we're not going to focus on counter-attacking just at this stage of the game, because again, we're simply trying to control. Battle possession, there are going to be a couple of changes. The standard line is going to remain the same. The high press is going to remain the same. We are going to have this set one sort of less than the other two on more often, and we are still going to put some pressure on the goalkeeper. But that is going to give you guys 3 variants of Slayer Zoro's 4114. Again, you can find this guy in the description as well, so definitely be sure to go over if you wish to say hello to him. It's an absolute pleasure getting your tactics sent in. I love to see what you guys make as well. We are going to have another manager recreation coming up very shortly. You can vote on that right now on the community poll, so be sure to have your say. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like, drop a little subscription below, turn on the bell, because for some reason you guys don't get notified otherwise, and we've got content coming almost daily, so definitely check that out. And if you like my videos, you love my streams, so that's in the description as well. I'm plugging everything. I'll see you boys in the next video. And if you guys did enjoy today's video, here are going to be a couple more videos I'm sure you're going to love. Down here, you're going to see my previous video, and here is going to be a video I personally recommend for you guys to check out. Trust me, you're going to love it.